All
Right.
righty. Hello, guys. Welcome to Jacqueline Valdez Live. I'm Jacqueline. I'm so excited for our next guest. We are talking about living with purpose, and we are talking with motivational speaker Patric Young. Hello.
What's going on, JQ? Happy to be here, and what a great thing to talk about because purpose just helps us so much to have a clear vision, regardless of what is going on around us, to continue to run towards a direction, a target. So it's really good to be able to talk on this subject for sure.
I love this so much, and you are such an inspiration. So let the viewers know about your story.
Uh, where do we start? Do we go? You want to go question by question, or do you want to? Because I can end up talking for 10 straight minutes, and nobody wants that. I've been told many a times that you're a professional speaker. Sometimes we need you to get you to listen more than talk. But I guess if I were to give like a kind of quick overview to give some context, this is similar to how I wrote my book. Because there's a lot of people that don't know me. I'm very much a Florida kind of North Florida college basketball space, Gainesville, Jacksonville. So I played basketball at the University of Florida for 4 years. I was a highly touted recruit with all this potential and hopes and dreams of going on to be in the NBA and to have a long career. And those things didn't happen for me the way I wanted them to. Of course, it's I made it to a top level, but still didn't make it as far or as long as I wanted to. And pretty much I had to reframe at a certain point during my career of what's most important to me, who do I want to be? Because basketball, like even if like look at Tom Brady, he was able to have a storybook career to play until he was like 43, 44, and football ended for him at a point, and he had to find something else to do. And I think what he did a great job was, and I tried to as well, of just having a foundation outside of your sport, so you could like it's always going to be a difficult transition when you go for something you've been eating, sleeping, drinking, dreaming of doing every single day to where it's not the same. But I've been fortunate enough to be around some really good people that have helped me to mold who I want to be and hold me accountable and encourage me and push me and help me to dream and have vision for my life, even through the shortcomings. So, after my basketball career, I went on to work with the SEC Network and this was 2021, my first year there. And long story short, in the grand scheme of things, I was in a car accident in 2022 that left me paralyzed from the waist down. And it, as you can imagine, flipped not only my life physically, but mentally and everything else I had dreamed and the vision I kind of had for my life at that moment. So I had to take a step back, and, purpose is a huge foundation to starting over. It's a huge foundation of saying, regardless of what happens, I can still be a great dad. I can still be a great husband. I can still be a great friend. I can still make impact in this world. And not that it's going to be easy, because it's tough when you get uprooted from what you knew to having to discover a new version of yourself and how you can still do those things in a different way. So I'll pass it on over to you right there, because I didn't want to go long. I think we did okay keeping it concise right there.
You are fine. So how did you find your way when you did have times where there was darkness or sadness, or did you feel lost at all?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. As you can imagine, initially when I had my car accident, I was not looking for this, newfound purpose initially. That was at the forefront of my mind. It was like, when you put your hand on a stove, a hot burner, all you're thinking is, you're not thinking, water, aloe vera, wrap my hand, all these other, you're just like kind of in this frantic phase of what is going on. And, it wasn't kind of clear what the future was going to look like. And what's so important for us in our lives is to help harden us and help us through is having those people around you that, they might not necessarily know what to say, but they're there, and they can bring laughter. They can bring joy. They My family showed, in this tough time that we were still connected and we were still loving of each other and in this thing through the thick and thin. And that helped give me just enough strength to for my perspective to change. It is what it is. What's happened?
Wow.
What are we going to do about it now? And being an athlete, I think it did help with my determination. I've always been kind of a guy that's a doer, and just the idea of having to be dependent on other people all the time, something.
Oh no, I lost.
Sorry, someone keeps calling me. But that just was something that did not fit well with who I wanted to be, the narrative. So even though in the process of getting back to independence took a while, and then even in that, doing the things that I used to be able to do took me a little bit longer, I could do them. And the purpose of like making the life around for the people around me easier, and them seeing that I'm okay, was something that brought me great fire to keep going.
Wow. And I love that you really followed the light and you did not go into that dark place of letting yourself get.
How did I lose sound?
Did you lose me? Can you hear me now?
I lost sound for a second because someone called me.
Oh no.
Let me see if I can reconnect this real quick.
You are a man in.
Sorry about this, folks.
This is real life, guys. We're live. Thank you for tuning in.
There you are. Gotcha.
All right, we're back. We're back. So you were talking about, finding that purpose and having that support system around you and wanting to become independent, and how difficult it was for you to be dependent on other people. What tip would you give people who are scared to ask for help and don't have that support system?
It's tough. It's tough, especially for men. I think for men in particular, we struggle so much with this mindset that if I have to ask for help, people are going to think that I'm weak. People are going to think, and it's like, where is that coming from? Because I don't think anyone has an expectation that a man, no matter how successful, big, strong, or whatever, can do or knows everything about everything. And you take away, we kind of, that level of pride, because sometimes it's pride, sometimes it's fear of asking, but I would lean it more towards pride and not wanting to look bad, not wanting to look like I don't have it under control type mindset. And that pride, it blocks us from opportunity, it blocks us from connection, it blocks us from blessing somebody else that wants to help us, that loves us. It also, that pride can also keep relationships longer than they need to be, because let's say, for instance, I'm in desperate need of something and I ask you, I'm like, Jacqueline, I don't need much. I just need you to do this thing for me. And you're just like, I just don't want to do that for you, or something like that. And it's like, dang, I thought we were friends. I don't feel like I'm asking for a lot. I'm just asking for you to call me on Saturday morning, or I'm asking you just to whatever, send me a text just to encourage me from time to time, and you don't do it. And that level of pride of not even asking for help can actually keep you in things longer than you need to be as well.
That is so true. I have witnessed a lot of people that had bright lights in them, and then they let the darkness overshadow that light, and their pride got in the way. But because they didn't want to take that first step, or they were embarrassed or had these expectations on themselves, they dimmed their own light.
One of my best friends, his mom told me the reason that her and her husband, and I love both of them to death because he's my best friend. I know both of them from growing up. She said one of the reasons, the major reasons that they divorced was because of his pride. That all she wanted was for them to continue to work on their marriage, because it's tough, like any friendship, any relationship is going to need like work. There's going to be tough times, but if it's one thing if a partner is like hesitant on going to a therapy or something, they'll go. But maybe they're just like, oh man, I don't think we need this, but they'll go. And it's another thing for a person to say, oh no, I'm never going to that. We don't need that. Everything's dandy. And it's like, well, that other person doesn't feel that way. And she literally said as she was walking out, she was leaving him after multiple attempts for them to strive to grow and connect and hit the reset button. He's like, my pride won't let me, submit to us doing it. And I'm just like, gosh, that's just so crazy.
It's sad.
That it's so sad. It's so sad that to that level. And it's your partner. It's your partner. It's supposed to be your ride or die, your person that you're, getting through this life stuff with, and they want and them wanting to, yeah. But I guess it's things like that. It's for the best. You hate to see that to be a cause, but just think of the other missed opportunity because both people end up suffering, right? One person's suffering because this person's constantly trying to tell me I need to do better, and then the other person is trying to get that person for both of them to do better, and it just won't happen. So both people end up suffering in a situation like that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's true. It's sad finding that pride getting in the way, and then things don't bloom for you, and you can't grow. There's things that can't open doors in the university, and there's things that can't unfold.
Without a doubt, absolutely.
What tips would you give family members who are going through someone who is struggling with their life, whether it's been a car accident or just some hardship that they're going through?
Yeah, it's really tough. Look, I watched this movie last night, and it was extreme. It was called Silent Night on Amazon Prime, and the guy, the father was a victim of gang violence in the story. He ends up getting they lose their, like, him and his wife and his son. They're just playing in the front yard, and a stray bullet kills their son. He goes after the people. He somehow gets shot in the neck, and it leaves him without the ability to talk. And he's in the hospital for a long time before he recovers, and he comes back, and he can't. He's mute, and their son's gone, and his wife is trying to do everything she's suffering, and he goes on this vendetta, and he gets everybody back. But but regardless of that, it was really hard. I related so much to the situation because this guy had so much to grieve at that time. Loss of his son, loss of his voice, just feeling empty, feeling like he couldn't protect. And for people that want to, like, that's an extreme example, but there's smaller things as well. What helped him and his wife kind of was just the small connection points that she could find. And it's, trying to make each other laugh. Honestly, like, people that hear this might think this isn't ideal. I'm telling you, because it's serious. You're in a very serious situation when a person's going through something, and you don't force it, but trying to find ways to get them to laugh, to get them to smile, to get them to enjoy the moment. Again, like, you don't have to force it, but that was pivotal for me, and that's the advice I give to a lot of people when their loved ones are in the hospital or they face something, is to try to find the beauties that there still are in life, because it's so clear. Someone sent me a message today, and he's like, what a blessing it, one thing that we don't account for when, of waking up every day, because everyone's like, I woke up today, some other people didn't, we should be grateful. And it's like, yeah, but like, when other people are excited to give you a greeting and waking, like, that's, I was like, man, I never thought about that aspect, that there's people that, in your life that want to see you and text good morning and say, hey, how are you? Like, they really mean it. And just gives you so much purpose when you can be that person. You don't even realize, like, the smallest things that you can do can make the greatest impact on somebody that's going through almost any type of trauma or any type of hardship in life.
I love that so much. You're dropping gems here.
Oh yeah, you had to know that was going to come a little bit.
I love it so much. Yeah, and you have totally done a beautiful job of pivoting your life into a new direction, and so many doors are opening up. You're now a motivational speaker. How was your first experience speaking? Were you nervous? Yeah. Were you shy?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. My first opportunity was in November, the same year that I got injured in 2022, and it was a big one. It was Johnson and Johnson. It's not a Johnson. That's a very well known country from or company around this entire nation. Um, I didn't feel ready. I didn't feel like it was the right time, but I knew that whatever I had to share was going to be impactful. I knew it was necessary, and I knew that it wasn't about me being perfect. It wasn't about me having the best articulate. Like, I would say that as a speaker, I'm much more polished off than I am now, and I have a much better kind of path about how I go about it. But it was still a message that needed to be heard and said. And what's so crazy about it, like, it was a hybrid kind of meeting where there was a large group of people indoors and they're there on site, and then there was a lot of people that were remote. And I spoke to them again this past November, so twice. And after I finished the second time, there was this guy that was kind of just like waiting for everybody else to leave before he could say something to me. And I was just like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like, what's this guy, like, what's his agenda? And this guy tells me that he had to come meet me in person because he literally said he was on the call last year and that I saved his life. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, I had a note written and I had the method of which how I was going to take my life. And he said, when I heard you, he said, when I heard you last year, it made me change and stop what I was going to do. He said literally, he had the plan, note, and method of which I don't, and I just left speechless. I mean, he's crying, I'm crying. I'm just like, what in the world,
I got goosebumps. Oh my
God. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that alone let me know that, even though I felt like I could, you always kind of feel like critical of yourself, that you could do better. And that made me just stop being so critical of myself, that when I just step in the room and if I can just be authentic, if the door is open, it's already written what's going to happen. The people that are there, that are going to listen, they're already there. I don't need to worry about the size of the crowd. Like, if truly only that one person's life was affected, I mean, like, seriously, the guy literally, a year later,
that's amazing.
Said, and I don't even know when we put it on the agenda that I was going to be speaking again. Like, gosh, a year later, this guy waits and comes to meet me to tell me that he would have taken his own life if I hadn't come and spoken that day and shared my story.
It's such a huge proof that there's really divine intervention, and really the universe does a lot of magic. And it's amazing to hear something like that. It gives you chills.
Yeah.
And like you said, just to make an impact one person at a time, and you don't need to be so critical of yourself. You don't need to expect perfection. You have to just take that next step.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, that's the perfection complex, like right time, not ready, like that stops so many people from taking action. And that it makes you think that you're never, that your message is never going to be good enough, or the thing that you have to present. And sometimes that might be true, but even if, like, Ed Sheeran had this this interview he did a while back, and he wrote a song when he was 14, and it's awful. It was so bad. Like, if you heard that song not knowing who Ed Sheeran was, you would say there's no way this guy is ever going to make it. But he put that out there, and he realized, okay, I need a lot more to learn before I'm going to get to where I want to get to. And he said in the 4 years from that point to when he wrote the A-Team, his first album that went, quadruple platinum or whatever it was, that he learned how to perform. He learned how to sing better. He learned how to do so many other things better in that time of patience and waiting and not being recognized in the dark, that it helped him to become, like, his failure helped him to succeed, and not waiting for it to be perfect, for his voice to be perfect, for his guitar playing to be perfect. Because sometimes it's like there is no perfect that you're chasing.
Yeah.
It's not even there.
It's impossible. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I find myself recently too really coming in contact with this subject of really being consistent
Yeah.
and being your authentic self, and the universe putting spirits and energies together that are meant to influence one another. And really just, it doesn't matter if you talk to one person or you talk to millions of people, that you need to just be your true self and
Yeah.
follow your purpose, live in your purpose.
Like I am completely in alignment with like the law of attraction. I think the law of attraction is very much like, think about it though. Like if you set your mind on something and you align your life to it, I can't tell you when it's going to happen, but more than likely, like if you say I want to become a millionaire, you set your mind to you're going to start saving money more. You're going to start focusing on ways to make money, but you're going to start trying to network and meet other millionaires and spend most of your time. So eventually, I can't say it's going to happen in a year, but just imagine the change when you have your focus and your mind. Like the universe, yes, I agree. It's going to align in a way. And it's the same thing. Like if I say, don't focus or think about a pink elephant, with a pink elephant clown car with 30 clowns in there. Like that's all you will see and focus on. And in that same way, when we focus on, because there could be other opportunities and things that you miss, but when you're so laser focused, I think that is something that hurts a lot of people nowadays, is that we want to multitask and do multiple things at once. It's really hard. Not that there's not a time and place for that, and not just a time and a place, but um, a force that's behind that, where you can't, like a single mom or something like that, that has this to juggle so many. She can't help it. She has to multitask in order to thrive. But other things like social media has made our attention span so short, among other things, that it's really hard for people to focus on one task and just be really good at that one thing, and then moving on to the next. So, me included. I'm included in that. Like it's really hard for me at times. As many books as I want to read, and I have them like right there. You start reading the book, and then that book starts reading you.
Yeah.
Or you gotta start reading the same thing over and over again, until you're like, man, I'm never gonna get this, and then it's just super annoying. It's super annoying.
It's so true though. I'm guilty of it too. And I have to weigh myself in and say, okay, focus box. And because where you put your energy is where things do bloom. And you can't spread your energy so thin, it's not going to bloom.
Right. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a concept I learned about planting too. If you were to try to grow a peach tree, you're supposed to wait like 3 years before you actually try to harvest the fruit, because this is supposed to be a season, those 3 years, where the roots can really go down, and the tree is going to be. But if you, in any time that you try to take, and that's something you don't see. You don't see that the roots are growing underneath, that they're what they're doing, and you start to see that it's making some fruit, but those fruit are immature. Those fruit aren't ready, and if you try to eat them, they're not going to be good. They're not going to be like, they're not going to look good, and they're not going to taste good. So you literally have to wait the process. Like there's a season, and that's another thing about fruit. What I love so much, fruit is not for you. A tree makes fruit for others to enjoy. So it's like to focus so much on the results all the time. Like, yes, we do need certain industries and places, like, yes, the results are super important. That's where you have your metric to see like how you're doing, but it's not the end all be all for, I'm sure a lot of people would much rather have the results they want, not having to compromise their integrity or compromise taking shortcuts to get there, because the short, quick things, I just have realized, they don't last. Because when you're hardened and you have to wait 3 years for the breakout, for the thing to happen, oh my goodness, there's nothing anyone can tell you. But when it's just like, and you can weather storms, you can weather difficult things when you've waited that patiently. But if you got something quick and you didn't really have to work super hard to get it, it's super hard. You're much more likely to lose it quickly as well, because you don't cherish it as much.
You don't appreciate it. it's all about the journey, and it's all about the passion and finding the love in what you do and following your heart and your authentic self. What tip would you give people that are having a hard time finding their purpose and who they are?
Oh, I mean, one of the biggest things is things that you can do. Practical. I'm all about things that you can apply. Um, Simplicity. Starting over. Get out a piece of paper. Get out a pen, and just ask yourself, like, who am I? What do I want? What am I passionate about? And then the people that know and love you the most, ask them. Like, I know that's one of those things where it's like, oh, this is so weird to ask people, like, what do they think of me, and what do they think I'd be good at, and you know, what do they think my purpose is? But like, it will surprise you what the things people say and what they see in you that you don't see about yourself, and the encouragement that they will provide. Because I like to believe the people that you're going to ask for feedback, they should be your friends. They should be people that if they even if they were to give you like bad feedback, which most people they wouldn't. Um, you can at least accept it through the lens of your friendship that you have, that they have deposited in your life. So even if they say something the wrong way, yet they mean it with a good heart and good intention, you can have the grace to look over that mistake, or whatever you want to call that. But yeah, simplicity. Take out a sheet of paper. Don't put your phone away for a sec. What do I believe is true about me? Not what anybody else says. What do I? And I love this. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that like a kid asked, what's his name, the rich guy, Berkshire Halfway guy.
Mm, I don't know.
Anyways, it was a really, really rich guy, not Jeff Bezos, it's the other guy whose name I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah.
Some kid asked him, like, you know, what should I like, how should I align my life to be, someone like, I can't remember the exact question, but anyways, that's not the most important part. He responded and said, write your eulogy. Start write the things and then start backwards from there. Who you want to be, what you want to do, because it's like it's all going to hit us. Like, we're all going to pass on at some point. Hopefully, we all get 90 years, 100 years, whatever, healthy years. But it's like, what do we? We're not going to be thinking and talking about at 90 years old. Oh man, how about those luxury cars I drove, or the big house I had? Or it's going to be. We're going to. I think about it this way. I try to say, like, what do I want people to be saying about me after I go? What legacy do I want to build for my kids, for my family, um, for the people around me that I got to live this life with. And hopefully it's just not a legacy that's all about me.
I love that so much. It's so true. Just stepping outside of yourself and seeing the bigger picture.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And you have a special friend with you, I see.
Oh, my boy, yeah, this Decker, he's an old man.
I
Oh
love
crap, that's my old man Decker.
your
I've,
partner in crime.
I've had him since college, and he's slowing down, but he's still just as sweet as ever.
Yes, I love that he's with you and everything.
Oh yeah, I try to get him in bed as much as I can with me, but he's so big, and he just like sleeps in the middle of the bed. I'm always like, gosh, why can't you be like Chipper size? Chipper is the perfect size, little Jack Russell Terrier that Jacqueline and I have are mutual friends with a friend of Barbie, the Presleys, and they have this little Jack Russell Terrier that he's the sweetest dog, and he's like, what, 20 pounds, if that?
Yes, something like that. Shout out Barbie, shout out to Chipper and Bishu, the Presley family. Yes.
How about Palmer? Palmer, he got in the UF, which I'm really excited for him.
Yeah, shout out Palmer. Yes, and UF. So tell us one of your adventures at the University of Florida, because you have such a love and support system still from everyone from the University of Florida. Like,
You want a story?
Yes, tell me a story. Tell us.
I mean, what kind of story?
Which one stands out the most to you?
It's this is the family friendly program. So, so gosh, I'm just trying to remember. I have so many. Let's go.
I threw you off there.
Let me try and go. Trying to find a funny. I'm trying to think of a funny one. Uh, gosh.
There's so many adventures I know you had while you were with the University of Florida. And
Yeah, no, yeah, no. There's some that I've just already I've thought of, and I'm like, nope, 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 nope,
shout out UF.
nope, not that one. Nope, that stays between him and I on that. Uh, yeah, not that story either. Gosh.
That is so funny.
Well, I mean, gosh. Well, I guess this is a good thing. It is a story that it's kind of foundational. It's not funny, but it is in terms of perspective. I came into Florida as this highly touted recruit, and all these expectations and hopes and dreams and things that I really kind of bought into, just outside noise of people telling me how great I was going to be. And there was just a misalignment because it's great. People see potential in you and speak that into you. I mean, receive it. But work has to be done. You have to work your butt off. Success is rented, and rent is due every day. And I didn't get that at that age. And, when you have these unrealistic expectations and an unmet reality that you don't have this humility first kind of perspective on what it's going to look like to get to where you want to go, it just leads to frustration, disappointment, just takes you out of character. It can, when you want something so badly and you just can't have it, and it's harder than you thought. And it got to the point where Coach Donovan had to sit me down in his office and say, "Hey, if you don't let us coach you, if you don't think that we're doing a good enough job to help you to get to, you might as well think about transferring." And that was something I really didn't want to do or ever foresaw. And it was just a epiphany for me to change everything that I had been going through at the time and thinking. And I wasn't perfect. Perfection wasn't the progress of that. But there was a large amount of change and progression towards being that better player, that better person. And my dog's trying to leave. No, you can't leave me ever. And just think, without that moment, without that accountability and that truth, I would have never been able to be a part of all those great things that we achieved at Florida. Final Fours, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, SEC regular season champion, just all the things that I was a part of being wouldn't have happened if, for me, if I hadn't embraced that level of accountability and truthfulness, that feedback that we talked about earlier.
I love that. I love that story that you shared that with us, and the fact that you took it with grace and you took it to not be bitter and not be angry, but to improve yourself and to work on being the best you that you could be.
Better, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then still, what can you expect from an 18-year-old boy? Anyway, but it was the right time. I just wish I could have figured it out sooner.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like I've learned too over the years is you're always so hard on yourself and you have a hard time forgiving yourself. But when you're at that age or that point in your life, you didn't know any better.
Right.
So
I didn't. I thought I knew better. We should say that.
Yeah.
Say I thought I knew more than I actually did, and that is not. No, that was not the case.
Wow, I love that so much. What projects do you have coming up for you?
Well, recently with the foundation, which is really cool, we wrote a $25,000 check, which was used to purchase a new vehicle for Brooks Rehab, to replace the really old beat up one that they had. That's going to touch 200 to 300 people a year. That are, once you get back to driving, it changes everything for you to have that level of independence again. So that's why that was something that I felt so drawn to doing. Then, continue speaking. Have Haven't started writing the second book yet, but that is something that's definitely gonna be in the works for me here. Yeah, I got a lot of events coming up. We got a golf tournament coming up in September to raise more money for helping people with spinal cord injuries. And right now, I'm just in a period of life where I'm trying to take things simple, keep them simple and consistent, as you said, where I have this small realm of control over a lot of my life. But that small place of control is very impactful for how my day to day goes. So I'm just kind of focused on that right now.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I'm so excited to follow your journey. And it has been such a pleasure talking with you. I could talk all night with you.
I know, right? But how many people would want to listen to us, right?
Lots of people do. Oh, is there anything else that you wanted to tell the viewers?
I just would say, choose grace. Always choose grace. Always choose forgiveness. Life is too short to hold on to. Just because you forgive doesn't mean you have to let people all the way back in. But holding on to bitterness just doesn't help. It's really only affecting you. So, choose grace for not only yourself but for others, and forgive people of their wrongs. Just one. Our lives can change in one phone call. So, the sooner we can get over the things that we can control, and saying I'm sorry, asking for forgiveness, forgiving others, I mean, it will affect the quality of our lives drastically.
I love that so much. You have just been dropping gem after gem after gem. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having this lovely conversation. I'm so glad we got to catch
Oh
up.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm glad we found the time and space, and it worked out. Just was weird with whatever my laptop was doing earlier. I have no explanation for that. I'm just gonna blame you, and we're just gonna live with that.
You better sort yourself out.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching Jacqueline Valdez Live, illuminating the world one voice at a time. Thank you. Lots of love and light.